How are you
Great.
feeling about your campaign so far? Obviously, this is not for the faint of heart. This is a big deal.
Well, it is absolutely not for the faint of heart. I will say that. Look, it's been a little bit more than a month since we've been in. I think we're starting to gain some momentum. Everything is going well. We're progressing towards the first debate, which is on August 23rd, as you said. And I think a lot of the candidates feel that that's a moment that could potentially be a breakout moment for them. We're seeing a lot of reshuffling happening in what I call the non-Trump vote, where you're starting to see repositioning happening among the party. And I think people in the party are looking for something fresh. They're looking for something new, dynamic, inspiring, positive. And they're going to keep looking, and there's going to continue to be reshuffling until they find that person.
But what about you? I want to ask specifically how you plan to set yourself apart. You and I have spoken many times here on Morning in America. You have a unique perspective when it comes to issues like immigration. How do you separate yourself from a crowded field of people who still have yet to catch up with former President Donald Trump?
Well, I think just about everything about me is different. Obviously, I'm the only Hispanic in the race from either party. I'm the only mayor, and mayors get things done. I think I have a great track record where I can show that I've motivated people in my community to go from a plus 30 Democrat community to a plus 10 Republican community. I've lowered taxes to the lowest level in history and seen unprecedented growth. We have the highest wage growth in America and the lowest unemployment in America. That is a recipe for American success and prosperity. And all I have to do is convince people that I can scale that nationally, number one, and let them get to know me. Everything that I've done in terms of research has indicated that the more that people get to know me, the more they like me, and the more they want to know more about me. So it's going to start today. Today I'm speaking at the GOP Lincoln Day dinner here in Des Moines, Iowa. I'm very excited about it, of telling this story of American prosperity. My parents came from Cuba. They were exiled from their country of birth, a communist country where they take away your property, they take away all your rights, and they try to make you equal. And all they do is create equal misery and equal destitution and hopelessness for everyone. That is the antithesis of the American dream. And that's why I think we're succeeding in Miami, and we got to scale that success nationally.
I know your campaign has been giving away $20 gift cards. There have been offers reportedly that you're paying students college tuition in exchange for donations. We have Vivek Ramaswamy also coming up with creative ways to get people more involved, get people more engaged. What do you say to critics who say that those kinds of methods are a gimmick?
I say that there's critics to everything that we do in public service. No, look, I think, the Republican Party set a threshold of 40,000 unique donors. I got in the race late, and so there wasn't a lot of time for me to be able to meet that requirement before the August 23rd debate. So I think, like you said, many of the candidates are doing things that are unique and that are innovative. I think what's interesting is that we're prioritizing small donors, and I think that's something new. And that's something that is healthy for democracy. Before, as you know, most fundraising was done behind the scenes in ballrooms where, sometimes people would be embarrassed when they were recorded for trying to say things to donors that they wouldn't say in public. Now, you have to go out there and you have to get not just 40,000 unique contributions. By the way, on the Democratic side, it's 60,000. You also have to get 200 from 20 states. I'm happy to report that we've reached that threshold, and we think we're going to reach the 40,000 threshold probably within the next 10 days, well in advance of the August 23rd debate. So we feel good. We feel confident. We're gaining momentum. I was doing an interview just recently where they were showing that at this same time in 2015, Donald Trump was also at 1%. So I think the beauty of it is we've got 5 months to convince people that our candidacy is real and that it's going to really reshape this incredible country that we live in.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about these accusations that are floating around. If you Google your name, accusations, reports that your campaign benefited from illegal contributions. Some are saying by a foreign national. Can you just convey what your perspective is on this? And are those accusations true?
Yeah, to be honest with you, that has to do with a super PAC that's supporting my candidacy and a contribution that they got. I have no reason to believe that any of the contributions received by that entity are not by, obviously United States, either citizens or residents. So anybody can make a complaint. We live in a society, a very litigious society. It's a very leftist organization that made the complaint against that organization based on what I've read. And so, look, it's just part of, like you said, it's part of the rough and tumble reality reality of modern day politics where everyone is throwing everything against the wall, trying to see what sticks.
What are you going to do? If you don't make the debate stage in Milwaukee, what will you do to make sure the American people hear your message?
Well, first of all, we totally feel confident that we will make the debate stage. But regardless of whether we win this race or whether we don't, I certainly feel that the Republican Party needs to be able, and whatever candidate they nominate and those who surrogate for that candidate need to be able to grow the party in three distinct categories. Number one, with Hispanics, which are 20% of the country. Number two, with people who live in cities, which are predominantly blue. Like I said at the beginning, I changed my community from blue to red by a 40-point margin. And number three, with young voters, people who are 30 and under, who we lost to Joe Biden by 26 points. That's unforgivable and cannot happen in 24 and should not happen going forward.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.